All right, so today we're going to do your study guide for quiz 6-24. Take your quiz on Thursday, and then on Friday, you'll be working in the Alex app, and your work in the Alex app will be for a grade. So please take it seriously. Come in here on Friday. I won't be here. Get your computer, get logged on, go to the Alex app, and get some topics learned. Because again, I'm going to look at the results on Monday when I get back, and that work will be for a grade. So here we go with this study guide. Problem number 1, the vertices of a triangle are. Name the vertices of the image reflected across the line y equals x. Okay, so if we are reflecting across the line y equals x, there's actually a shortcut. And the shortcut is that for every xy that gets reflected across the line y equals x, the rule is that we just change or exchange the x and the y. So what I'm telling you is that you don't have to graph it, you don't have to draw perpendicular lines, you don't have to do that. All you have to do is P prime is going to be located at, we're just going to switch the x and the y's, all right? It's going to be located at -4, -7. That's the rule. It's a shortcut rule. Point Q prime will be located at -8, -7. And R prime will be located at -3, 3. All right, you take the x from the pre-image, you make it the y of the image. You take the y from the pre-image and you make it the x of the image. Good? Just switch the coordinates. All right, then problem number 2 says the vertices of a triangle are. Name the vertices of the image reflected across the x-axis. So the x-axis reflection has a shortcut. And we can say that for every xy of the pre-image, when we reflect it across the x-axis or in the x-axis, our new coordinates, our x value remains the same, but our y value at the image becomes the opposite of the original y value. So here's how this works. P prime will be located at, we're going to keep the x the same, -3, and we're going to write the opposite of the original x, so -3, -8. Our Q prime will be at -6, +4, and our R prime will be located at 1, -1. In problem number 3, the vertices of triangle PQR are. Name the vertices of the image reflected across the y-axis. Well, that's got a shortcut as well. The shortcut when reflecting across the y-axis is that for every xy after the reflection, our x value will be opposite and our y value will be the same. X value will be opposite, y value will be the same. So P prime will be located at, the opposite of -2 is 2, and we keep the y the same, -4. Q prime will be located at, the opposite of 2 is -2, and keep the y the same, R prime, opposite of x. So the opposite of -1 is 1, and keep the y the same. All right, so 3 reflections, 3 rules that you can use so you don't have to graph the triangle and reflect it on the graph. And in problem number 4, find the image of O after 2 reflections, first across y equals -5, then across x equals 1. All right, so we got to reflect this thing twice. So what we're going to do is we're going to plot this. There's not a shortcut. So we're going to be at y equals, first across y equals -5. Let's get the point down first. Find the image. We're at -2, -1 to begin with. So -2, -1. Right here's our original point. First across y equals -5. So y equals -5 will be right here. This is our first line of reflection. Here's our y equals -5. So when we reflect this the first time across y equals -5, right now we are 4 units from -5. So we have to go 4 units away from -5. So -5 plus another -4 will be down here, and we would be at -9. Our x value is going to stay the same. So right now we're at -2, -9. All right. And this could be considered O prime. 1 reflection. And then across the line, x equals 1. So we just reflected it across the line, y equals -5. And now we've got to do it across another line. So this other line was x equals 1. X equals 1 is right here. It goes through 1 on the x-axis. So it's this line. That's our x equals 1. So we're going to be reflecting horizontally. So if this O prime is now at -2, -9, its y value is going to stay the same, but its x value has to change. Its x value right now is 3 units from the line of reflection. So we need to go 3 more units to the right of the line of reflection. So where we end up is at O double prime. If its x value after 1 reflection was -2, we went 3 units to the line of reflection, which put us at x equals 1, and then 3 more, which would put us at x equals 4. Our y value stays the same, so -9. All right, so that would be a double reflection. That's going across y equals -5, and then we're reflecting it in x equals 1. Okay, in this problem, in the diagram, figure RQTS is the image of figure DEFC. So this is our this is our image. Now, when you're doing these translations, in this case, you can't use this description, all right? Because the first question, problem number 5, says name the image of F. Well, the image of F, if you look at the description, is not going to be T, all right? What you got to see is that this preimage, DEFC, what it did was it got reflected over a line and then it got rotated. Okay? So you got to picture this image reflected over a line. It would probably be around here. All right? And then once that happened, and the image kind of got rotated downward. So what I see, name the image of F. Well, the image of F is going to be S right here. So that's going to be S. And now we got to name the image of CD. Well, CD was this piece right here. So after that reflection and rotation, it's going to be this piece right here. So that's going to be TQ. So like I said, it got reflected over a line and then it got rotated down. All right, right here is a little bit of new terminology for problem number 7. What image is the translation of ABC given the translation rule? This translation rule, what this says is that for each XY of the preimage, we're going to change it so that we're going to subtract 2 from each X and we're going to add 2 to each Y. Okay? We're going to subtract 2 from each X and we're going to add 2 to each Y. So when you're looking at this graph, the lines on the graph are all in increments of 2. So be careful. All right? You've got to move 1 block to move 2 units. So we're going to translate this thing. A is going to go down 2, and it's going to go to the right 2. So A prime goes here. And it's kind of hard to see. And then our B prime is going to go down 2. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. If we're subtracting 2 from the X, we're going left 2. And if we're adding 2 to the Y, we're going up 2. So from point A, we're going to go 2 left, and we're going to go 2 up. So here's A prime. For point C, we're going to follow the same rule, left 2, up 2. So we're going left 2, up 2. There's our C prime. And then for B, we're following the same rule. X minus 2 sends us left 2. And from there, we're going to go up 2. So there's our B prime. So there's our translation given this rule. All right, whatever happens to the X, this is up and down. No, it's not. I just said it wrong again. I apologize. Changes to the X are left to right. Just like the number line. If they're subtracting from the X, you move left. If they're adding to the X, you move right. And then the Y's, those are up and down. If they're adding to the Y value, you go up. If they're subtracting from the Y value, you go down. All right, problem number 8, we're using this diagram. Find the image of C under the translation described by the rule. So here's our rule. X plus 11. That means we're moving right 11. Y minus 8 is down 8. So we're going to find point C. Here it is. We're going to go right 11 units. So here's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 units. And then we're going to go y minus 8 is down 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8 puts us at point D. So find the image of C under this translation rule is just point D. Problem number 9 asks you to find the translation rule that describes the translation from B to E. All right, we're going from B, which is right here, to E. All right. So our rule is going to be written as for every xy of the preimage after the move, our new x. Well, look what happened in this picture. All they did was from B to E is they went straight vertical. So the x value stayed the same. This x value stayed the same. So after the move, our x stays the same. We didn't do anything to it. What happened to the y's? From B to E. Well, the y started at -8. And it went 8 units up, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 units up. So our y increased by 15. So that's your translation rule. From B to E, our x's stayed the same, and our y's increased by 15. All right, problem number 10. The vertices of a rectangle are, after translation, R prime is the point, -13, 0. Find the translation rule and coordinates of U. So let's see what happened to R. R went from -5x. So R's original x was -5. We had, let's see, R was at -5 and -5. And then R prime is at -13. R prime is at -13, 0. So we have to write a rule for this and then apply it to point U. So our rule for this move is for every xy. We ask ourselves, what happened to the x's? If we went from -5 on the x-axis to -13 on the x-axis, didn't we go left 8? All right, we subtracted 8 from -5 and we got -13. Our y went from -5 to 0. So if you're at -5 on the y-axis and you go to 0 on the y-axis, aren't you going up 5? Okay, so our y went up 5. So we used the first translation to determine this rule. And now find the translation rule and coordinate of U. So for U, that's at -5, 1, to U prime, If we started at -5, we've got to subtract 8 again. Well, that's going to put us at -13. And if we started at 1 with the y, and we got to add 5 to it, well, 1 plus 5 is 6. So our u prime will be at -13, 6. All right, problem number 11. Describe in words the translation represented by the rule. So look what happens in this rule. Whatever we do to the x moves us left or right. So this went left 4. Whatever we do to the y moves it up and down. So if we added 7 to the y, we went up 7. So there's the description in words. This image got moved left 4 and up 7. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to write the rule based on the words. So if we're going to write this rule based on 4 units left and 10 units up, well, for every xy, we are going to 4 units to the left would be x minus 4. 10 units up would be y plus 10. Changes to the x go left and right. Changes to the y go up and down. So 10 up is y plus 10. 4 left is x minus 4. And then we're going to describe the rule for the translation 7 left and 9 down. 7 left and 9 down for every x, for every xy. If we're going 7 left, we're taking our x and we're subtracting 7. 9 down for all the y's, we're going to subtract 9. Again, left and right deals with the x value. Up and down deals with the y value. All right, problem number 14. What is the rule that describes the translation ABCD to A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime? In this case, you just have to pick one point. Okay? Pick one point. I like to pick real obvious points. I'm going with point C right here. And to get from point C to C prime, which is right here, you ask yourself, what did they do? Well, first, let's deal with what they did with the x. With the x, they went left 4. Remember, each of these lines, each of these boxes are in units of 2, because look where this 8 is. This 8 is only 1, 2, 3, 4 from the origin, so each box is worth 2. So they went left 2 boxes. So left 2 units. For every xy, we are going to take the x's and we're going to subtract 2. And then after they went left, see, I just made that same mistake I told you to be careful of. How many do you got to go left? 2 boxes, which is 4 units. All right, so we went left 4 units, and then they went up 2, and then half of a box, which is 1 unit. So they went up 2, and 1 more is 3. So they took the y's and they added 3. And if you want to double check it, just apply this same rule to one other point. If I go to point A and I go left 2, 4, and then I go up 3, 2, 3, I'm at A prime. So if it works for one, it's going to work for all if you wrote the rule correctly the first time. So you may want to check it on one other point. Use the translation rule to describe the translation that is 9 to the right and 5 down. This is for every xy. We're moving the x's 9 units right, so x is plus 9. 5 units down, so we're going to take our y's and we're going to subtract 5. All right, and problem 16. What translation rule can be used to describe the result of the composition of, okay, our first move is left 5 up 6, and then we go left 6 and plus 2. For the composition, when you're writing the rule, what you do is you just, for the x's, all right, here's our rule for every xy, our x's. For our x's, we just take -5 plus -6, okay? And -5 plus -6 equals -11. So our total move, if in the first translation we went left 5, and in the second translation we went left 6, we went a total of left 7, and left 7 is x minus 11. Did I say 7 or 11? Left 5 and then left 6 is left 11. So we're subtracting 11 from the x. Then we do the same thing with our y's. In the first translation, we went up 6. Then we went down 2. So for the y, if you went up 6 and then down 2, wasn't your change positive 4? Okay, if you went up 6 units and then down 2 more, that's positive 4. All right, so that would be your composition of the two rules given in the problem. All right, so any questions on that? Not real difficult, I don't feel, just a little more terminology, yes.
Can you go over the landscaping shape?
Yes, I will. Give me 1 second. I'm going to upload this video so that if you want to use it between now and the end of the period, you can, because there is no study hall today. So you're on your regular Monday, Tuesday scheduling here. No study hall today. So I think the best way to practice for this quiz is going to be to watch the video, pause it after you can see each question, answer the question, and then push play and check your answer. All right? So that's all I've got for you for today. You can use the rest of the period to work on electronic assignments or work on this study guide. And I'll answer any questions you have at this time.